Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Marsfall and Barnsley. I thought we'd take a little look at the dwarf planet Ceres, which is in the asteroid belt. This image was taken in 2015 by the NASA JPL spacecraft, the Dawn. I think it was called Dawn, and there was quite a lot of interest in this particular dwarf planet, not only because it was the very first time we'd ever visited some of these bodies, but also because of this particular feature in Okator crater, and it's supposed to be carbonate, like salt or carbonate material, and it's supposed to be the largest amount of carbonate out in the solar system outside Earth. It may even be actually in the solar system, and people feel as the spacecraft got nearer and nearer, people thought that it looked like lights of a city, and everybody got very excited. But NASA soon suppressed that and just came out, with the explanation that it was salts. But and as usual, tried to make out that it was basically featureless. There was nothing to see there, and they've done a good job of putting that across. I think there was a large anomalous mountain that they found. Can't remember the name of it, but they said that was caused through cryovolcanism. It was like an ice volcano, and it was the only, basically, apart from Okator crater, it was the only thing of interest on the entire dwarf planet. But anyway, they subsequently released this in 2015, and it shows you that it's got a very, very varied surface, and I think it's got loads of anomalies on it. And really this video is only to discuss and show you one or two little anomalies that I think exist here, because I think there's runes on Ceres, and I think they've tried to obscure a lot of what might be lying here. Okay, the first thing I wanted to look at really was not so much the bright lights. We've all looked at that. I wanted to try and show a few slightly different aspects of the dwarf planet, and not so much concentrate on what that might be. Even now, it's very anomalous, and I've got my thoughts on what it could possibly be, but I just want to go and show you a few different things that I've found. It's only one or two little things. So I just wanted to have a look at this particular area first, just there. So just bear with me for 1 second. Okay. So this is this area. Okay, so it's just a close-up of it on this. Okay, so I haven't touched the image at all. All I've done, as you can see here in the top left corner, is I've placed the magnifier and just increased the magnification until we've got a nice close-up look of it. It's the only way to do it. You can't magnify in Photoshop because it just becomes too pixelated. So this way it's like getting a magnifying glass on it. And when I did that, when I put the magnifier on it, straight away you can see that we've got something very, very anomalous here. Well, I think it is anyway, because if you look here, you can actually see that it looks to me as if it's some kind of maybe structure, the exterior of a structure. Now, before I go any further, the resolution on this is very, very low indeed. and I was even a little bit reluctant to have a look at at the image. The image was taken by something called a framing camera. I think it's a German optical instruments. It was their contribution to the mission, but the resolution on it just seems ridiculously low. I think at Vesta, the first dwarf planet, it was 25 meters per pixel, but for some reason what they were saying is that this particular image was shot at 62 meters per pixel, which works out at about 207 feet per pixel. So every single pixel on this image, every single dot on this image is 200 feet. So you're looking here at something it's a few thousand feet in length, to be honest with you. If you count each pixel as 200 feet, you're talking something, over 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet easily. So these objects that I'm going to show you, these anomalous objects, are actually massive. They're huge. Okay, but as you can see, we seem to have like entrances. Like there's 1, 2, 3, and there's like a curved one there, archway 4, and you can even see pillars. Can you see that? There's 1, 2, at least looks like 3, and then there's some kind of like there's a structure here, like a tower of some sort, and you can actually see the shadow there underneath the tower. Yeah, so it comes straight up, it throws a shadow here. That alone is about 800 foot high. It's got to be, from here to here. And then there's outside the entranceways, there's this like platform or road. Again, that's over 1,000 feet in length. It's absolutely massive, but very, very anomalous. This area is very, very anomalous. We seem to have like a big entranceway there, and then this is like the nearest example I can see to talk about is like a valley of some sort, but it looks very, I don't know, it doesn't to me it does not look natural. You can just see the surface there, the flat surface, and then there seems to be structures within it, and then walls either side of it, and that comes from here and then runs down here. Very anomalous indeed. And this bright area, it looks like a face to me, but maybe the pareidolia is strong, I don't know. But anyway, there's this particular feature I wanted to show you. Now just keep that particular shape in your mind, okay? The straight lines, and then you've got the pillars supporting it, or it look as if they're supporting it. So just keep that in mind, because if it does spin this, sorry, I'll have to go into Photoshop. Okay, now I just go to actual pixels. Now, if we just head north here, okay, I can't magnify too much in this because it'll just break up. Okay, I'll do my best to get as close as I can. Tell you what, I'll just put the blade on a little bit. Don't worry, you'll see it a lot closer in a minute, guys. Don't worry. I'll just sharpen it. I just want to show you the anomaly in the context of the bigger picture of the planet before I just show you that particular area. So this was the area we were looking at before. Okay. Now, and if you just head north, we come to this area here, specifically here. Okay. Now I want you to look very, very closely. It's breaking up too much on this. what I'll do is I will go to the clearer image, okay, but this is the area that we're just going to look at now, okay. There's some very anomalous objects and structures here. Okay, so right, okay, so this is that image. Like I say, I haven't done anything to it whatsoever. I've just placed it in Windows Magnifier, as you can see here. So let me open it up in Adobe. Right, now if you look here very closely, you'll see something that, in my humble opinion, is some kind of structure. Okay, I hope you can see that, and it looks very similar in layout to what I've just shown you. You've got gaps here and then pillars. There's 1, 2, then it sweeps across, and then we have 3, possibly 4 here. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 entranceways, if you like, if you can call them that, maybe 5 with this, and it seems to be definitely, in my humble opinion, artificial. It's very hard to see how geological processes could make something like that, and it's even got multiple layers, because if you come to here, you'll see little dark areas here and another pillar, so it seems that there's another layer on it, and then on the top is another entranceway here, and I think all this area is some kind of ruined city or ruined structures, because I'm seeing 90-degree angles, I'm seeing metallic looking structures, you know, that, look at that, it's symmetrical. I'm seeing symmetrical structures. Look at this 90-degree angle. I mean, that could be part of this, because beneath this outer surface could be some kind of big industrial complex or a city or something like that, and what we're seeing are the outside the outside structural supports maybe, or something, but it definitely looks artificial. And even the back here, if you look here, there's 1, 2, 3, I think there's multiple sculptures along the back of that wall, no faces, and this is all collapsed buildings, maybe collapsed machinery, I don't know. And there's the structures here, see here, but I hope you can see that. I'll just go right in, and it looks very similar to what I've just shown you before in Obfuscation, with the pillars supporting it. See where that sweeps out and comes down. Okay, the other main part that I wanted to show you, just bear with me for 1 second, guys, sorry about this, it's chaotic as usual. Okay, so the other area I wanted to show you is quite unusual as well, and it's here. Okay, all this side here, because I think there's obvious evidence of deliberate obfuscation all along here, and I think it's being done obviously to hide whatever structures are there. Okay, and I'll show you exactly what I mean now. So if I just rotate this up and come to this area, don't worry, I'll show you some close-ups in a minute. Now if you look carefully, you can see that everything's being covered with some kind of blur or some kind of deliberate obfuscation. Can you see it? Like there's things here that have been covered up. You see all this, all blurred. See, there's something behind it. There's something underneath it, but it's being covered over. See, look at this. I think that's a structure. Very difficult to see, and it's collapsed. All this is like runes, and there must be obvious structures underneath it because they've covered it with this. I don't know what you would call it. Just some kind of blend. They've blended everything in and covered it with some kind of blur tool. But you can see, you cannot see the surface at all around here, because it's been completely blurred. Now this here, this unusual looking thing, what I'll do, hold on, I'll go to a closer image, but just keep this in mind here. Okay, just let me go to okay, so actual pixels. So this is that particular area. Now, can you see all this blaring? And you can see where they've covered everything in it. Now, this, I'm presuming, is supposed to be a crater. Okay, but they've absolutely covered it in this blurry material. But for some reason, they've left the round circular hole in the centre. So if that's a crater and they've left this little hole in the centre, it's some of the worst cover up I've ever seen in my life. It's absolutely terrible. But there must have been something really noticeable in that crater for them to cover it up. And then you can just see something along the top. That's if it's a crater. I mean, when I look at it, it looks as if it's standing up, like a giant wheel. It can't be. I think it must be a crater, but it looks as if it's standing up. But and you can just see at the top, there's something just poking through. They've tried to hide it, but it's poking through. And then next to it, we've got this thing here, which to me looks like very similar to something like the Pentagon, in the United States. And you can see like the straight wall like features here, and then there's something in the centre of it. Can you see that? I know it's very blurry, and they've really gone to town with all the obfuscation here. It is bad. Coupled with the low resolution, it's obviously not the best image, but that is untouched completely. I haven't enhanced it in any shape or form. That definitely doesn't look natural, and this is very strange. This what I don't know what they've tried to do there. I'd love to know what's underneath it, but they haven't done a great job because they've left this hole in the centre. It's just crazy. Just let me go back to this, because I've enhanced it very slightly. I'm not saying it's going to make any difference, much difference, but I haven't enhanced that at all, never touched that. I just wanted to try and bring out this structure, and you can see a wall, can't you? I think so anyway. See here, it's like a massive wall. It's thousands of feet across, and there's structures in the centre of this. You can see that is deep. You can see inside the wall, and if you have a look there, you can actually see that the floor of whatever this is, and it seems to be like a dome or something. They've tried to blur it out, but you can see where it's gone a little bit silver when I've used the dodge tool on it and the sharpening on it. I've only put a little tiny bit on, because you've got to be dead careful with it. And there seems to be maybe an entrance way here, But I don't think that's a crater, is it? That cannot be a crater, and I've never seen a square mountain ever. It could possibly be because of the low resolution that it's causing us some problems. But I'll let you be the judge in that. I think they've tried to cover up a lot of stuff here, and I think we're just seeing an artificially constructed building of some sort, but on a massive scale. And this, what they've done to this crater here with this blade and the circular thing in the centre, I don't know what they were trying to do. There must be something underneath that very noticeable. Okay. I think that's it then, guys. This is just another part of what I was showing you before. Can you see all the obfuscation here? And there's definitely something there. I mean, the obfuscation, as they've tried to rub it out like this, they've actually gone over and above the planet. Can you see that? Can you see all the obfuscation? they've actually they've done it that rough that you can see where the strokes come down from outside the circumference of the planet, and you can see where the obfuscation starts outside the circumference. Can you see when they've done that? Whatever they've done, you can actually see it's the worst. I think it's the worst obfuscation I've ever seen in my life. But there's obviously something underneath it, isn't it? Definitely. And this looks to me like a structure. And there's a big, massive entranceway there. And it's got a V-shaped object in the entranceway. Can you see that? The shape of it? And there's the entrance. And it looks as if, there's a 90-degree angle there. It's square, and there's other objects here. Now, I don't know whether it's some kind of dome. It's been a dome. And the dome has collapsed, and we're only seeing half the dome, and the other half is just destroyed. And maybe that's why it's so bright. That might be the glass or whatever material it was made out of. I don't know. On the floor there, but it's anomalous, isn't it? Anyway, just let me see if I've got anything else on here. I don't think I have. But there is a lot. There's definitely a lot on here that's so unusual. Very weird stuff on it. Okay then, guys, I hope you found it interesting. It's an interesting little world, and it's supposed to have an ocean, believe it or not. And they actually found organic material, the building blocks of life, if you like, in certain areas on this planet, in several locations. So so suppose like if it's got an ocean, it's got organics on it. It'd be interesting to know what was actually going on inside, within the interior of this dwarf planet. It's really interesting. Okay then, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.